My name is Leah Corbett, and this is my global experience. The day that Northeastern released their acceptance letters online, I was a mess. I spent the entire day refreshing the page, waiting for my answer. It was my top choice. It was the only place I saw myself going. So when I found out I was accepted into the NUN program, I have to say I was pretty upset. I love to travel, but first semester of freshman year, I didn't know about that. I wanted something normal, something familiar. Yet, in the end, normal is what I've been trying to break away from for the last 4 years. After giving it a few weeks' thought, I realized that this was the program I'd been looking for. As cheesy as the slogan was, I desperately needed to break out of the ordinary. With that final decision, knowing it wouldn't be easy, I left my friends, family, home, and comfort zone for a life-changing semester in London. And so my freshman experience began. Upon arrival in the ritzy town of South Kensington, London, I was overtaken with anxiety. Anxiety of being in a city, let alone a different country. Anxiety of knowing absolutely no one and living with strangers. I felt alone in such a magical city, and I had yet to realize how magical it really was. Soon after classes began, I got into a routine. Metrogate became my home. Hyde Park became my backyard. The Underground became my favorite car. And before I knew it, London was my city. Slowly my anxiety faded as England became the something familiar that I had been searching for. Within a week, I found that I had the opportunity to take some of the most unique classes in college. I was able to learn about England while seeing it. Whether we saw the tourist attractions like the Tower of London, London Eye, Trafalgar Square, Parliament, Big Ben, Buckingham Palace, and the British Museum, or the not-so-obvious attractions, including art museums like Tate Modern in Britain, a mosque, and multicultural areas like Brick Lane and Brixton. I learned something new each time. I've never been taught in such an efficient way. I was adjusting quickly and having the time of my life. The other aspect of our academic requirements was our focus on service learning. I started off going to South Bank Mosaics to help create beautiful works of art that were placed in areas of the city that needed refurbishing. I definitely hope to come back one day and help with this service again. For my weekly placement, I went to the People's Supermarket, a market that was for the people, by the people. The idea of the market was to use only volunteer workers as staff so that the profit they made could go to community projects. Although this idea was still in the works, it was a great opportunity. Without it, I'd probably still be very confused by the British pound. I worked with great people and met customers with whom I shared numerous conversations. I definitely do not regret it and wish the market all the best in the future. Apart from classes, life in London was a whirlwind of fun. I can't even begin to explain how much there was, and still is, to do here. One weekend, I'd head over to Piccadilly Institute, Heaven, or Club Coco for a crazy night of dancing to great music. I cycled through the gorgeous Hyde Park, saw unforgettable concerts at the O2 and Roundhouse Theaters, and went pub crawling all around the city. By doing this, I was able to mingle with the locals and really get a sense of what Britishness is. Not just a love for cricket and warm beer, but a plethora of cultures, each with something to offer. England valued individualism and tolerance. I was free to be whoever I wanted in this incredibly accepting city. I joined the photography club at Imperial College and met some very interesting international students, from Japan to Portugal. The other weekends I spent traveling the world. Never would I have thought that as a freshman in college, I'd get to see Austria, Scotland, Ireland, Belgium, and France in one semester.
You picture buildings burning to the ground from the basement in the street.
I also took many day trips around England, including the beautiful Dover Castle and White Cliffs,
A hole is in the sky.
Greenwich Village,
It's not your heart that you've been thinking of. Just the feeling.
and the uniquely vintage town of Brighton. I saw the famous Stonehenge, sat gazing in silence at the beauty of the Roman baths, listened to street performers of all different genres, and took photograph after photograph after photograph.
I'm not your spinning head. I'll never make you uncomfortable too. This is not.
My time in London has been, without a doubt, the most life-changing experience I've had. From it, I've emerged a totally new and independent person. I can now walk the streets of a city that doesn't speak my language and feel comfortable doing it. I can visit museums alone, research some of the best nights out, and meet some of the most interesting people out there. I found that normal was overrated, and something familiar simply came with time. I can't imagine what my life would have been without this semester. I don't think I'd be the same person I am now. I have changed, and yes, for the better. As I continue on to my next 4 amazing years in Boston, I'll bring with me the memories of a time that will seem so recent and yet so far away. I'll be back for you, London, one of these days. For now, I thank you for this unique semester and will always keep you close to my heart, even as I take my last step off the tube and first step onto the T.